If I had to learn AI completely from scratch in 2025, knowing what I know now, every week OpenAI announces new models, Google releases updated features, Claude gets new capabilities, Meta drops AI tools, and hundreds of YouTubers make videos about each one. It's completely overwhelming, especially if you're just trying to figure out where you can start. If I was starting out again, I'd approach it completely differently than how I did when I first started. I'm Cian, the AI productivity coach, and I've trained thousands of people on how to use AI effectively. But if I'm being honest, when I started, I felt completely overwhelmed by all the noise around AI. I made every single beginner mistake in the book. I spent weeks distracted by all the different tools and models that were out there, and I spent months chasing shiny new features rather than building the real skills that I needed. So if I started from zero today, I'd ignore 90% of the noise and just start with this framework. Start, systemize, scale, and stay sharp. By the end of this video, you'll have my exact playbook to cut through the overwhelm and start learning practical AI skills that save you hours every week. Let's jump into the first step. And quite simply, it's to start. Yep, just begin. The first mistake I made is that I spent so long researching different tools rather than actually just trying them. I always wanted to make sure I had the best AI tool. The problem was that changed pretty much every week. If I was starting now, I'd just choose one. So this could be ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, Copilot, whichever one makes sense. Don't spend too long on this. Just choose one and let's get started. And to see the value straight away, here's one thing I do differently. I choose one task in my day that takes around 5 to 10 minutes. So this could be email drafting, meeting summaries, maybe a bit of research. Then I'd force myself to use AI for that task for the first 48 hours. For me, this was simply rewriting and improving emails that I was sending. I didn't really care too much for the prompt. I just wanted to see what I could do. So very simply, can you suggest ways to improve this email? And very quickly, you can already see 4 different versions of how you can improve the email, which makes it very easy to see the value that is provided from a very simple start with AI. And this took 30 seconds rather than 10 minutes of overthinking. At this stage, your best bet is to just experiment and see how you can apply it to your job. Don't overthink how much time it's saving. Just start using the tools. Once you get a better sense of how this can apply to your job, then we can move on to the second step. And that step is systemize. Once I got those first wins, the second mistake I made is that I started using AI randomly without any kind of system. Ideally, once you get the hang of these tools, you want to create a system that allows you to benefit from the previous work that you've done on them. And if I was starting over, there are various ways that I implement this. The first way would be to structure my prompts better. And the way I do this is using the RICCE framework. And that is role, intent, condition, context, and examples. So instead of my old lazy prompts like write an email, you can structure your prompts from day one using this framework. So as an example, your professional project manager, which is the role, write a follow-up email to a client, intent, keep it under 100 words and friendly but professional, the condition, the client missed our deadline for feedback on website redesign, which is the context, and here's my usual tone. I always start with checking in on them personally, example. This framework will help you get much better responses from your prompts and move on from the initial just start phase. Another massive help in the systemize phase is context engineering. Basically, you want to give your prompts as much context as possible to get the best responses. So this includes things like feeding the AI PDFs, images, brand guidelines, basically extra context to help you with the prompt. The more context you give, the more tailored and accurate your results will become. Finally, one other thing I'd consider is a prompt vault. Oftentimes I'd lose or forget where I put really good prompts. Building a prompt vault could help with this. You can do this anywhere. It could be a Google Doc, Sheet, Notion, even just notes on your laptop. Every time I nail a prompt, I'd save it instantly. Not only was this really helpful for saving all the good prompts, but it actually made me better at prompting, knowing what works for me. So if you find this framework helpful, please make sure to subscribe below. My plan is to continue sharing guidance that would help beginners on their journey every week. So if this is helpful, come on the journey. So step number 3 is scale. Once I had my systems down and was seeing really good results, I kind of accidentally stumbled onto the scale phase. And this one is where I'm really starting to find value in my day-to-day work. And overall, I've seen my productivity increase way more as I've adopted some of these things. The first part of this is using AI to help improve how I use AI. One of the best examples of this is asking AI to improve your prompt to get a better result. And this was just a really good way to scale up all of my prompts and output very quickly. Ultimately, I was getting better results quicker. Another aspect of scale that was really helpful was creating custom GPTs or agents. Many tools have these, but these are basically custom AIs that have instructions that are tailored to what you want it to do. Effectively, you can create a lot of agents that are tailored to how you want to work and improve your work and output drastically. The one example of this that's really helped me is my AI writing assistant. This agent helps write exactly how I would write and saves me lots of time drafting or reviewing content. If I started over, I'd be putting a lot of time into creating these agents to help scale my work quicker. The next phase of this is then automation. So with some of my workflows, I then use agents and automation tools like Zapier and Make.com to create a team that works on my behalf. The benefit of this is that you can have agents and workflows working on your behalf 24/7. And with all that time you're saving, you can focus on the things that are more important. And finally, step number 4 is stay sharp. With all these developments, it's important to stay on top of what are the best tools. But you don't want to spend too much time getting overwhelmed on all the information that there is out there. So if I start from scratch, I build this into my week 1 habit. I'd immediately establish 5 to 10 minutes every day of learning about the latest on AI. You don't need to look at every single news article that comes out. Just choose 2 to 3 sources that you really trust. This could be one newsletter, a podcast, and maybe even a YouTube channel. You might have to spend a bit of time understanding which are the best ones that you want, but once you know what they are, get rid of the rest and just focus on those ones. The second thing I do is weekly experiments. It's all well and good hearing what the latest in AI is, but if you actually don't know how it could apply to you, then there's no point of knowing it. So my advice here is to block 1 hour every week experimenting. You should treat this like a crucial client call that you cannot cancel and cannot miss. Pick one thing you learned and try it on a real task. This isn't playtime. This is deliberate skill building that I wish I had started earlier on. Finally, do monthly reviews. Review your tools and prompts ruthlessly. Delete things that are not adding value. You do not want to waste time on those. And then definitely double down on what's really working for you. Remember, AI tools are the worst they'll ever be today. Focus on riding that improvement curve rather than looking at every single shiny object out there. So let me save you time by sharing the exact mistakes that I've made and that I see lots of beginners still making today. Mistake number 1, comparing loads of tools and never actually using them. As I said before, just pick one tool and go with it. You could even just do a quick prompt and ask one of these tools which tool would be best for you. Spend 5 minutes, not 5 months deciding this. Worst case scenario, you can change over to another tool. Mistake number 2, not organizing what was working really well for me. Even when I had success with these AI tools, I'd often just forget about it because I hadn't made a note of it. Build your prompt vault immediately and make notes of what works, where, and when. Mistake number 3, not implementing what I was learning. I watched every AI video but never actually practiced what they were teaching me. Test things out immediately. Don't waste time just watching, you've got to start doing. Here's a system. Take a screenshot of this as your roadmap, and this is the exact path I'd take if I was starting from zero. Start, systemize, scale, and stay sharp. So if you found this framework helpful, please make sure to subscribe and join me on this journey. I want to provide practical tips for those of you who want to learn AI and really improve your work and life. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.